Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm ready to talk about virtual internships today. Virtual internships give you an opportunity to really intern anywhere. So I know that a lot of students look forward to them because if you're not in a big city or for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a car, you can't leave campus, virtual internships are a great solution for you, and I think provide students who don't live in major metropolitan areas with an opportunity to intern at a really cool company. So I know lots of you are either in the middle of your spring internship, towards the end of it, or you're going into a summer internship, or maybe you're thinking about a virtual internship for next year, but I want to arm you guys with some great tips. So at Intern Queen, sometimes we take on virtual interns. It kind of depends on the semester. Right now we have an LA in-office intern who's fantastic. He's here today actually helping out with the shoot. Hey Christian! But before we had our office, we had virtual interns for years. So just some quick tips for all of you virtual interns out there. Number one is ask questions about the communication, because one of the things that gets confusing with a virtual internship is that you're communicating too many ways. Via Skype chat, via instant messenger on Gmail, via email, via phone, via text message. And sometimes it's hard to understand or to know how you're supposed to communicate with your supervisor or even your supervisor's supervisor. So make sure to ask those questions on like the first day of your internship. You know, what's the go-to communication? I know you use a lot of tools, but what should I do so that I don't miss anything and you don't miss anything? You don't want to be texting someone that doesn't check their texts, right? I remember I had an intern once who was Facebooking me updates, and I never check my Facebook, so I was missing everything. So I think understanding and really defining the communication style in a virtual internship is super important. Next, if a company says, do the work whenever you want, I'm scared, okay? I'm scared. The one thing that scares me about virtual internships is when they're not structured and there's not set hours. I get concerned about the expectation because the employer might tell you do the work whenever, but they might be expecting to hear from you every day. You might take that as, oh, I'm gonna do the work on Tuesdays and not have to talk to them until the following Tuesday. Make sure that you have that conversation from the get-go and really establish when you're interning and when you're not interning. When you're given an assignment, what is the expected turnaround? How do they want you to get back in touch? And if I were you, my recommendation is even if the employer doesn't set hours for yourself. You know your schedule. It probably doesn't change that much week to week. Pick a schedule that you can stick to because you want to manage their expectations. Employers, as young as they might feel, be, or sound, they are not in college anymore, and they don't remember what it's like to be juggling all of those different things at really random times. A lot of times employers, and I'm guilty of this too, we forget that students aren't just sitting at their desk waiting for the phone to ring between 9 and 5 like we are. So it's really important for the students to take initiative and really establish those hours. I think another challenge with a virtual internship is that you have a barrier, right? You're not in person, so it can be harder to build a real relationship. So I think what you need to do is you need to go above and beyond to create those below the surface relationships with your coworkers. Whether that means saying, hey, let's have lunch on Skype together one day. I'd love to ask you questions. Or do you have time for a quick informational interview? And maybe doing those interviews a little bit more frequently than you would do if you were in the office. But you want to go above and beyond to really break through that computer barrier and really make sure that you're establishing real relationships with your coworkers and with your supervisors. When it comes to a virtual internship, you want to make sure that even though you're not in the office, you still get your 2-week check-in. You're halfway through the internship evaluation, your end of internship evaluation. If you're not getting these things, you want to make sure to speak up. Also with virtual internships, again, because you're not in person, you're not getting that face-to-face time. Maybe sometimes the explanations of tasks are getting cut off. Make sure that you recap your assignments. What I mean by this is, let's say that Marisol is giving Jessica, our virtual intern, an assignment. After the assignment, Jessica should say, okay, Marisol, just to make sure I heard everything correctly, you want me to log into this website, this is how I do it. You want me to post a blog, and then you want me to promote that blog on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Is that correct, right? You want to recap the assignment to make sure that you're hearing the information the same way the manager is putting it out, because a lot of times that's not happening, right? So you want to go out of your way to make sure that you understand assignments. So again, just in general, as a virtual intern, I think there's more pressure on the student. It's not a bad thing, initiative is good, but more pressure on the student to stand up, speak up, and make the most of the opportunity, because these internships are great, they're very special, and I think they can really help push you along in your career. But you gotta make the most of it. You gotta really leverage the opportunity. So good luck and have a great virtual internship experience.